Before starting the story, I want to say that these are truck drivers' stories, but they are very short stories. I took them from Reddit, where truck drivers themselves come and share their experiences. I translated them and narrated them in my own words. If you like short stories, then you can continue listening. They're short, but very interesting. So let's move to our first story. I was driving straight toward Washington. I had taken this route many times. So I knew that every 40 miles or so, there were big dirt mounds where you can safely pull over and park. That night too, I did the same. I parked the truck in a safe spot, closed the window curtains, and lay down while watching something on my phone. About an hour later, suddenly I heard the driver's side door handle shaking, like someone was trying to open it. I hadn't heard any vehicle on the road before that. My heart started pounding. I gathered some courage and peeked out from the edge of the curtain. It was dark. I couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, the passenger side door handle began shaking. I lifted the curtain slightly from above, but I still couldn't see anything. Terrified, I immediately started the engine and turned on the headlights. But strangely, there was no vehicle parked nearby. No person near either door. I took a deep breath and convinced myself that maybe it was just the wind or something hitting the truck. It was an open field and the wind was strong. I tried sleeping again and closed the sleeper curtains. But shortly after, the noises started again. Soft tapping on the windows, the sound of fingers lightly knocking, and the truck shaking. I turned on the small alarm inside the sleeper, hoping the noise would scare it away. But instead, the sounds increased, a unique pressure sound of wind, the tapping of fingers, and the clicking of door handles. Then suddenly, everything went silent. Just me, my breathing, and my heartbeat. After quite some time, a truck passed by in the distance and then disappeared. I spent the whole night awake, waiting for that thing to return, but it never did. In the morning, when I stepped outside, there were no footprints, no damage to the truck, but every window had tiny human handprints, like a child had dipped their hands in water and repeatedly slapped them against the glass. That sight sent chills through my heart. Story 2: The Stranger in the Woods, Tennessee-Alabama line. This incident happened around 2006. At that time, I was driving a flatbed truck. I had to pick up construction material, drywall, ceiling supplies, all packed in boxes. Remember, I also had to put on strip protectors. This route was somewhere between Memphis and Nashville, closer to the Alabama-Tennessee straight line. After loading everything from the shipper, I had to put the tarp on. I secured everything properly, tied it down, covered it with the tarp, and left. About 5 miles ahead, in a wooded area on a 2-lane road, I noticed the tarp flapping in the wind. I found a wide spot, pulled over, and decided to fix it. I got down and realized I had messed up the job. So I decided to redo everything right there. I took off the straps, removed the tarp, rolled it up, and placed it aside. Then I climbed onto the load to spread it again. While doing this, I noticed a man walking toward me from that. I didn't think much, just kept an eye on him, since I was in the middle of the woods. When I finished spreading the tarp and climbed down to reattach the bungee straps, he came quite close. I placed my range bar on the trailer, an 8-pound, 4-foot steel bar used to tighten straps and chains, just to keep it nearby for safety. Now the man was standing right in front of me. The first thing I noticed was his hair, uneven, ragged, and partially covering his face, as if someone had cut it themselves and messed up halfway. Like he had said, "This is good enough for the party." His eyes were clear, no sign of drugs or alcohol. But something about him still felt wrong. His clothes were dirty, white tennis shoes, muddy, with no lace in one shoe, tongue sticking slightly out. He stopped in front of me. I looked closely as he said only this: "You've got a long road ahead." I said, "Yeah, man, we're in the middle of the woods." And I clearly told him, "I can't give you a ride." He nodded and walked ahead. When he reached my driver door, he turned again and repeated the same words: "You've got a long road ahead." I apologized again, telling him that due to insurance, I couldn't give anyone a lift. He nodded and kept walking. I waited for him to move further away, then continued fixing the tarp, but kept watching him. As I was attaching the last strap, I saw him coming back again. Now he was about 100 yards away and looked like he was talking on a phone, hand to his ear, mouth moving, the other hand waving angrily as if arguing. I quickly grabbed the range bar and climbed into the cabin, locked the doors, placed the bar on the passenger seat. He was now just 10 yards away, and I realized he wasn't talking on a phone. He was talking to his own hand, and it didn't seem normal. It looked angry, aggressive, disturbed. Now I was really nervous. I immediately started the truck, put it in gear, and drove off. As I passed him, he just glared at me, hand still stuck to his ear, expression dead, like he was staring into my soul. By the time I reached 5th or 6th gear, I checked the mirrors. He was gone, completely vanished. Third story, the truck driver's night of terror. This spine-chilling story is about something my uncle experienced with his own eyes. My uncle is a truck driver. Whatever I'm about to tell you is exactly what he saw. One night, he had a delivery trip. The next morning, at 7:30 a.m., he had to reach the factory, unload the goods, and return home. Carrying goods was all he did for a living. After he finished work that day, he returned home. He had tea, took a bath, ate dinner. He was so tired that he lay down, and before he knew it, he fell asleep instantly. At 11:30 p.m., his phone rang. It was his boss. His boss said, "You have to go for a transport load. It's urgent. You need to leave now." My uncle was shocked. This had never happened before. A transport call this late at night. But work is work. You have to do it. He quickly got ready, wore his clothes, and went to the factory. When he reached, the place was eerily quiet. Not a single person, just the watchman stopped. The The watchman looked terrified and said, "Please wait outside." There was a huge fight inside. People were almost killed. There are bloodstains on the floor. Don't go inside. He looked traumatized. He had scratches on his face. My uncle didn't know what to do. Just then, his boss arrived on his scooter. "Boss, nothing happened. This man is drunk." The boss kept saying the watchman was lying. The guard snapped angrily. "I'm not lying. I saw everything with my own eyes." But the boss didn't believe him. My uncle felt something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Ignoring the fear, he went inside. The goods were packed. He loaded them himself because no workers were available. He sat in his truck, prayed, and started driving. It was around 1:15 a.m. Ahead there was a big old peepal tree. Right under it, he saw a broken truck stopped in the middle of the road. Smoke was coming from its engine. 6 to 7 men were standing there, all drinking alcohol, shouting, smashing bottles, abusing each other. My uncle slowed down to see what happened. Suddenly, one of the men smashed a bottle on the truck's side mirror, deliberately. They were roaring in laughter. My uncle got scared. He pressed the accelerator and sped away. After driving half a kilometer, he looked into the mirror. There was nothing behind him. No truck, no men, not even broken glass. He froze. He had clearly seen a broken truck, smoke, and drunk men hitting glass. But now the entire road behind him looked as if nothing existed there in the first place. Later he realized, those weren't humans. Those were spirits of a group who died in that truck accident years ago. The ones who keep reliving their last violent moments. My uncle has never used that route since.